start in the feet position with the heels together, toes apart, so Pilates stance again. Hands will be one of three positions. They can either be on your hips, they can be in front of the chest, where we say a genie position in the arms, or behind the head with the elbows wide. Now just know they go from easy, medium, to a little more challenging with the hands behind the head. I'll demonstrate with the hands on the hips to start. So let's keep the legs in this little turnout, so the toes are facing slightly out from the heels, which are touching. We'll start working the left leg. So shift the weight just a little bit into your right foot, and then lift the left leg just a little bit off of the floor. Now as that leg is lifted, you may already be feeling some challenge, but I want you to focus on lifting up the waistline, specifically the right side here. So we're not leaning out into the side, but trying to lengthen up, thinking straight up to the ceiling. The left leg will start by moving out to the side, and then you'll just bring it back in. Try to touch the heels. And then move the leg out to the side, and then move the leg back in. So working the balance, specifically focusing on strengthening the right leg as we move the left. So it seems that sometimes when the leg is doing the movement, that's the side we want to strengthen, but in this case, it's the standing support leg. Now as you're moving this leg out and in, I want you to think about lifting up in the waist. That's very important. Keep your focus on one still stationary point in front of the eyes, and try to keep your focus there. The eyes will want to wander, but try not to let them. If you need to use a mirror, you can always do this standing in front of a mirror. But you can practice both in front of a mirror and not in front of a mirror, just for a little more variety. Let's do one more time, letting the left leg lift to the side. Then as the heels touch, let your leg rest on the floor sides. So again, one of three position with the hands, either on the hips, crossed in front of the chest, or hands behind the head. This time I'll show hands behind the head. So as the hands are behind the head, be noteful of a few things. Notice just that the upper abdominals, they're not kind of splaying outward. We want to kind of press them in a little bit, so you're going to find a little more core connection here, as this is harder to balance with the hands behind the head. So begin to shift the weight over just a little bit to your left foot this time. Your heels are together, toes are apart. And then from there, begin to take the right leg and just lift it out, up and then out to the side. And then bring the leg back in until your heels touch. And again, let the leg lift out to the side, and then bring the heels together until they touch. So you'll notice that in balance work, anytime you're doing one side at a time, one side is going to be more stable than the other. That's completely normal, and most people have those imbalances. So if you're finding that you have a really strong imbalance, let's say my left side is really, really hard to balance on, I would want to do 2 sets on the left and then 1 set on the right, just so you're not becoming stronger in the side that's already stronger. You want to try to strengthen the weaker side more than the side that already has that strength. So again, as you're moving that leg out and in, I want you to think about lifting up through the waistline right here. So we're not collapsing in the side at all. We're trying to really stretch your body tall. Let's do 2 more on this side, letting the leg lift and let it come back in. One more time. And then as the leg comes in, let the heels just ground, and then the arms just by the side. We'll bring the leg front and back. Very simple, but very challenging. So your hands can be either at the hips, in front of the chest, or behind the head. And this time I'll demonstrate with my hands just right in front of the chest, so what we call genie position with the arms. Your heels will still have that turnout, so the heels are slightly in and the toes slightly out. And then shift the weight into the left foot just a little bit, and then begin to pick the right leg up off of the floor. So as the right leg is lifted, you want to keep a lot of lift in the left side waist as well as the right, so that way the foot can come forward, and then you can travel it back, just in line with the heel. And then again, bring the leg forward, and then bring it back just in line with the heel. So this one, rather than going side and in, we're going front and in. Now the difference between this is that you'll use a little more quad strength and you'll use a little more abdominal strength when the leg is going out. You have to pull those abs in to find stability. Let's do 2 more on this side, and then bring the leg in, and then 1 more time front, and then bring the leg in and set the foot on the floor. I'll go right to the next side. So just shift your weight over into the right foot, lifting the left leg a little bit, and then you'll find that lift in the waistline up and the left waistline up as well. So let the leg come forward, using those low abs to pull the leg up, and then bring the leg back in line with the heel. And then again, bring the leg forward, and then bring the leg back in line with the heel. And forward, and back. So thinking about, again, a few things here. You're thinking of the length in the waistline up. Your shoulders should feel relaxed. A lot of the times we get very shouldery in these exercises and start to activate them even though they won't help. Let's do 2 more on this side. Forward, and then back. And then 1 more time. Forward, and then as the foot comes back, set it on the floor, and then rest your arms. Moving on to our last exercise for balance, the leg circle. So I showed with hands behind the head, and then arms in front of the shoulders. Now I'll do hands on the hips. So again, one of these 3 hand positions is an option, and you can always change them through every exercise just for variety. So let's start with shifting the weight into the right foot a little bit, and then lift your left foot just a little bit off of the floor. So again, I want you to think about those things, about the waistline lifting in and up, feeling the shoulders relax, and feel the abs pulling in. So this time, the left leg is going to start coming forward. It doesn't have to be very high. And then let the leg go out to the side and around behind the bottom leg, and then bring the leg forward again. Out to the side, around behind, and then back to the front. So here I'm tracing a mini little half circle going forward, side, and back. Forward, side, and back. Now in this one, you have to be mindful that as your leg is circling, you're trying not to circle the upper body. So just that leg is going to be changing positions. Your torso is going to be very stable. Now I'm feeling a lot of work in my right leg, so that's my standing support leg, and that's what you're going to feel the work in for this exercise. Now the left leg looks like it may be feeling more work than the right, but in fact the right is going to feel more work than the left. Let's reverse it now. So let the leg go back, then let it go out to the side and around to the front, and then go back again, side, and around to the front. Lifting my abs in and up. I'm thinking about relaxed shoulders. Remember, they won't help in this exercise. And then thinking about those abs pulling back towards my spine. So 2 more here. Remember, my right leg is feeling the work on this side. So I'm really feeling the burn in my right standing leg. As that heel comes down, set it on the floor and rest. On to our second side. So heels are together, toes are still apart, and then the hands are on the hip for consistency for this exercise. So shift the weight a little bit into your left foot this time, so that way the right leg can lift a little bit up off of the floor. So we're in the circles. So let that right leg start to come forward, and again, it doesn't have to be very high, and then out around to the side, and then around to the back. And then bring the leg forward again. Forward, side, and around to the back. So when I was telling you about how these stabilizer muscles get a lot of work in this exercise, I can feel my left leg kind of shaking. So that's the stability that I'm going for. I'm going for those stabilizer muscles to work. Now they're feeling it because I can feel my leg moving a little bit side to side. So it's finding stability, and that's how I'm strengthening the muscles. That's what you will find in the results of this whole series. So the stronger those stabilizer muscles can become, the more you will feel confident about your balance. Now, again, like I mentioned before, everyone has a stronger side and a weaker side. So if you're finding that one side is a lot weaker than one, work each exercise twice on the weaker side than you would on your stronger side. So do 1 more time forward, to the side, and around to the back, and then bring the leg forward, but then reverse it. So go back with the leg, side, and around to the front. Now the waistline is lifting in and up. You're feeling length in the waistline, and you're feeling the shoulders relax, because again, the shoulders are not going to help you in this exercise. And again, go back, side, and then front. 2 more, back, side, and front. 1 more time, back, side, front, and then let the foot come onto the floor, and relax your arms by your side.